My boss, my teacher begins with a man named Song-do who is in a lecture class. Actually, Song-do is not a student. He was asked to take the place of a man named Doo-sik, who is his boss. But in the end, Doo-sik's actions were known by his big boss, who told him to finish his own college because education is very important. Doo-sik then invites Song-do to discuss his studies, and he finally decides to continue his studies with his own abilities. Song-do said that before graduating from college, he had to do work practice as a teacher at a senior high school. Hearing that explanation, Doo-sik was annoyed that he had to return to school. After that, he immediately put on a suit like a teacher while practicing speaking in front of a mirror. The next day is his first day teaching at school as a teacher. Doo-sik is escorted by Song-do, Dae-gari and Dong-pal by car. Because Doo-sik doesn't want his identity to be known as a gangster boss, he decides to go down by the side of the road. But unfortunately, it made Doo-sik late for school, so he entered through the gap in the school fence. After that, he immediately entered the class to be introduced by the senior teacher to the students as a counsel and guidance teacher who taught about ethics. At first, Doo-sik taught them nicely, but after a while, he became emotional because all the students in the class were very naughty and noisy. When Doo-sik is angry, he sees a male student sleeping. Then he approached him and hit his body with a book, without thinking it was his big boss. Doo-sik and his big boss talked behind the school building during recess. His big boss told him that he didn't have a senior high school diploma yet, so he decided to continue school again. Although he was very embarrassed to live it, he emphasized once again that education was very important. In the evening, Doo-sik meets one of the private teachers who will teach him about ethics because he has never been to college, but they did not carry out teaching and learning activities. Instead, they drank alcohol and toasted together until they were drunk, and there was a commotion in the room. The next day, Song-do, accompanied by Dae-gari, went to the airport to fly to Hong Kong. Song-do is asked to replace Doo-sik in managing his gangster business. Doo-sik chooses Song-do because he thinks he is an intelligent man and is fluent in English. However, when going through the immigration officer at the airport, Song-do could not speak English. When the male officer asks if he is carrying weapons or drugs, Song-do answers yes, while clapping his hands. Hearing that answer, the male officer pressed the red button to call the airport police. Then the airport police immediately came there to arrest and detain them. Meanwhile, at school, Doo-sik is asked by a senior teacher to guard the gate and watch over the students who arrive late while carrying a stick to beat them. He does his duty without discriminating against students. Even the special students prioritized by Mr. Lee at the school are still punished by him. Mr. Lee, who knew about the incident, immediately went to the principal's room, who was gathering with the teachers. He immediately scolded them all because he didn't accept that 2 special students were beaten. He even slapped the principal. On the other hand, Doo-sik sees a female student, Mi-jung, who is about to enter Mr. Lee's room. In that room, Mr. Lee groped Mi-jung even though she looked uncomfortable with his treatment. Doo-sik was asked by Mr. Lee to make coffee in his room. At that time, he saw 2 male students transacting something suspicious. When Doo-sik was having dinner with some teachers, he got a new fact. They say that Mr. Lee is now the ruler of the school, which is more terrible than a street thug. The following day when Doo-sik arrived at school, he saw a group of naughty male students who were bullying his male friends while smoking. Even his big boss became the victim of bullying. Without thinking, Doo-sik immediately beat them all and punished them, including his big boss, for climbing the flagpole. After the incident, Doo-sik was warned by the vice principal not to be rude to the students. Then the principal came and defended Doo-sik. He said that it was a lesson for students to be responsible. In the evening, Song-do and Dae-gari, who had just come home from work, were scolded by Doo-sik because they had made a mess at the airport and lied to him. After that, Doo-sik discussed his field practice and asked for advice on properly punishing his students. Dae-gari, who heard this, laughed and teased Doo-sik, but he was immediately grabbed using a buckle by Doo-sik. After that, Doo-sik met his big boss and soaked together in a hot tub. His big boss told him that his lips were injured due to bullying by the thug students at the school. The next day, Doo-sik was asked to replace the senior teacher again, but this time he was asked to teach sports. From then on, he became familiar with his students. On the other hand, his big boss is still the subject of bullying by a group of thug male students. Actually, Doo-sik had asked Dong-pal to go to school too and protect their big boss, but unexpectedly Dong-pal also became the subject of their bullying. After teaching hours are over, Doo-sik and Song-do, along with a female teacher, go to a tavern to drink alcohol together. It turns out that the owner of the alcohol shop is Mi-jung's grandmother, where Mi-jung works. That night, her grandmother scolded her, and because she was embarrassed, she left the shop. Doo-sik then chases after her and advises Mi-jung not to do anything disobedient. Meanwhile, not long after, his big boss came to the tavern too. Song-do immediately took the female teacher home, who was very drunk. But when his big boss had just sat down, Suddenly Daegari hit him because he thought their big boss was just an ordinary student. Daegari, who felt scared, immediately went and ran from there. In the evening, Song-do gets information that the school where Doo-sik is currently is under the control of the Shin gang from the B-boys. They are owners of golf courses and other assets under the foundation's auspices. Besides that, they also support resort projects. Without thinking, Doo-sik orders Dong-pal to continue following Mr. Lee. On the other hand, Daegari is meeting with his wife named Chun-ja to talk about their children at a cafe. Chun-ja was angry with Daegari because he had never asked about their children all this time. Then she asks Daegari to move and stop working with Doo-sik because he doesn't think he makes much money, but Daegari refuses. She was annoyed and left him there alone. Then Daegari goes to meet Doo-sik in his room. He apologizes for his careless act. Song-do also helps Daegari to talk to Doo-sik so that he can forgive Daegari. Doo-sik, who was practicing ethics and patience, forgave him and allowed Daegari to continue working with him. Daegari was so happy that he thanked Doo-sik while crying. But just as Daegari was forgiven by Doo-sik, he made another mistake. When a gang from Hong Kong comes to talk about a project, Song-do and Daegari want to welcome them. But Dong-pal blocks them because Doo-sik can't trust this matter to anyone else. But Song-do and Daegari still force their way into the Hong Kong gang members' room. They argued about the territory between them and the Hong Kong gangs in the room because they recognized the same territory. Daegari, who felt emotional, immediately threw the Hong Kong gang member using a glass cup, causing a commotion in the room. After learning about the incident, Doo-sik calls Daegari and Song-do to his room to scold them because his business is in danger of going bankrupt because of their actions. He is very disappointed with Daegari, who has just been forgiven but causes trouble again, while Song-do believes he is a man who is good at business but instead disappoints him. Meanwhile, Dong-pal, who is still following Mr. Lee, finally caught him while copying the answer key to sell them secretly. In the evening, Doo-sik meets Mi-jung at the table while playing on a swing and smoking a cigarette. They looked close and played with paper airplanes together there. The next day a woman was looking for Doo-sik at the school, but she immediately slapped Doo-sik when he approached her. She says that Doo-sik has impregnated a woman named Mi-ran and that she is currently about to end her life, so he must take responsibility. The teachers who were there asked the woman to get out of the teacher's room, but she kept shouting that Doo-sik must be responsible for Mi-ran, otherwise, she would kill him. The students who heard the woman scream immediately looked at Doo-sik negatively and even booed him. When Mi-jung passes by, Doo-sik asks her to accompany him to talk in the park while playing with the airplane using the remote control. When Doo-sik wants to express his love for Mi-jung, she immediately cuts him off and says she just wants to think of Doo-sik as her older brother. Then the two of them went to the playground arena to ride some rides together. At night, Mr. Lee is seen opening the safe and copying the answer keys to sell them to the students. Unknowingly, Dong-pal is following him and is about to tell Doo-sik about it. Meanwhile, Doo-sik and Mi-jung went home that night after spending all day together. But when they arrived at the bus stop, it was raining. Doo-sik said he wanted to go to the shop across the street to buy an umbrella. Not long after, Mr. Lee came to the bus stop. It turned out that Mi-jung had been Mr. Lee's girlfriend all this time. She did it all to get money from Mr. Lee to pay for her school. Mr. Lee forces Mi-jung to come with him and even physically abuses her. When Mi-jung was about to leave Mr. Lee, she was hit by a car. One of Mi-jung's female friends witnessed the whole incident from behind the bus stop. Doo-sik, who saw the incident, was crying and immediately took her to the hospital. But unfortunately, Mi-jung's life could not be helped, and she died. Doo-sik gets angry. He immediately went to see Mr. Lee, who was having dinner at a fancy restaurant. He carried a wooden stick to beat him. Arriving in the room, Doo-sik immediately attacked Mr. Lee, causing a commotion. The next day rumors circulated in the school. Many say that Mi-jung committed to ending her life because she was pregnant by Doo-sik. Luckily, one female student saw the incident and told everything to her friends while crying. When Doo-sik was at Mi-jung's grave, he was visited by a group of B-boys gang who intended to avenge Mr. Lee. Doo-sik then attacked one of the B-boys gangs, and then his friends ganged up on Doo-sik using a wooden bat. When Doo-sik is overwhelmed with them, his big boss comes using a sports motorbike to help him. Doo-sik's big boss immediately attacked them, until finally, the leader of the B-boys gang challenged him to fight one-on-one. Doo-sik's big boss accepted it and kicked his genitals until he fell. Then the members of B-boys attacked Doo-sik's big boss in a gang. Song-do and Daegari and their members came to the place to help their boss, and then a fight between the two gangsters ensued. As the fight is in full swing, Dong-pal comes with the rest of the school students to help Doo-sik. Because the B-boys gang was outnumbered, their leader finally gave up and left. The next day, Doo-sik said with a heavy heart that today was his last day teaching at the school because he would be in prison. When the police took Doo-sik to the police station, all the students at the school told him not to go while throwing paper airplanes through the classroom windows. Not long after, Mr. Lee was also arrested by the police for being proven to sell answer keys to his students and harass underage girls. A few years later, Doo-sik, who had just been released from prison, went straight to his big boss to congratulate him on his graduation and managed to get his senior high school diploma. He suggested his big boss continue his mafia school in Italy. The moral that can be learned from this movie is not to run away from something just because we don't want to do it, because if we try to do it, it might not be as bad as we think.